As the United States slips into autocracy, what the American people need and the Democratic Party need is strong leadership. And unfortunately, we have Chuck Schumer, the cowardly lion, who we refer to as Chuckles, who again proved he is a terrible leader. He cannot meet the moment. He is impotent and he needs to step aside. And after agreeing to a CR in the Senate, Chuckles tries to go on the Senate floor and give us the old bamboozle. Oh, it wasn't me. Bullshit. Here he is.
Care away. All to bow to the billionaire elite and special interests. Democrats are united as the party of lower health care costs and improving our health care system. We will not give up this fight. We will deliver for the American people. I yield the floor.
What I have to say to that, Chuckles, is bullshit. You are not leading the fight. You are leading the cave. You are snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. You single-handedly, with this vote, one of two things is true. You baited the people that voted for it because they're not running again or they're independents, or it's a complete and total failure of your leadership that you did not whip the votes to keep the senators all voting in a Democratic bloc. This falls on Chuckles first and foremost. I am used to corruption and failure and impotent leadership from Trump. I am used to criminals and nutballs that are unhinged being at the top of that party. But what we need in this moment is leadership. And what we've got is Chuckles, who is so frail and pathetic. It is absolutely pathetic what he did. Even Hakeem Jeffries, who we don't heap praise on all the time, has been able to keep his entire caucus together. But Chuckles doesn't do that because he's behind it. He wants the government to open. Everybody wants the government to open, but you sold the American people down the river. Mike Johnson's already said he's not going to put a vote about the Affordable Care Act on the floor. So you, completely knowing this, did it anyway, and you suck. Chuckles, step aside, let somebody else take over that's a fighter, that has convictions, and that will not cower to Donald Trump and his hideous authoritarian regime. And the first person in politics to come out against Chuckles was Ro Khanna. And Representative Ro Khanna has been a leader and a fighter throughout this. And he says Senator Schumer is no longer effective and should be replaced. If you can't lead the fight to stop healthcare premiums from skyrocketing for Americans, what will you fight for? Agree 100% with Ro Khanna. Chuckles caved on the last continuing resolution. He caved again. He needs to step aside. Every single Democratic senator needs to go to him and say, step aside. This is horseshit. If you can't do it, let's get somebody in there that can. And somebody we know that can take this fight to this pathetic, weak regime is Bernie Sanders. And this was his take on what happened last night in the Senate.
8 Democrats voted with the Republicans to allow them to go forward on this continuing resolution. And to my mind, this was a very, very bad vote. What it does, first of all, is it raises healthcare premiums for over 20 million Americans by doubling, and in some cases tripling or quadrupling. People can't afford that when we're already paying the highest prices in the world for healthcare. Number 2, it paves the way for 15 million people to be thrown off of Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act. Studies show that will mean that some 50,000 Americans will die every year unnecessarily. And all of that was done to give $1 trillion in tax breaks to the 1%.
Here's the thing. According to the data, 50,000 Americans will die. 15 because of the cuts to healthcare. 20 million Americans will be paying double plus for health insurance. Not to mention, Donald Trump is tearing apart not just the White House, but the United States government. And Chuck Schumer, that wasn't enough for you to stand tall and have courage. That wasn't enough for you to take a stand and have conviction for. What's it going to take? What is it going to take for this impotent leadership in the Democratic Party to get clarity and stand firm for not just the senators and the representatives that are under their command, but in the Democratic Party, but for all Americans? Because Republicans don't give a shit that more of their constituents require ACA protections than Democrats are on Medicaid. They don't give a shit. But as Democrats, we do. So basically, Chuck Schumer handed Donald Trump a blank check again with zero concessions. He needs to step aside. And here we have another fighter in the Senate, another option for leadership, Chris Murphy. Chris Murphy says, bullies gain power when their misconduct succeeds in crushing righteous people to yield in the face of wrongdoing. That's why voting for Trump's continuing resolution without any protection against his healthcare cuts or his growing illegality is a mistake. I voted no. And leave that up here for a minute, Seth. Here's the thing. The misconduct is going to succeed because of Chuckles and his failed leadership. His absolute authoritarianism is going to succeed because we don't have leadership in the Democratic Party that says, no, we will fight you every step of the way. It is pathetic. It has to change. This has got to be a wake-up call. Seniority, all that shit going on in the Senate, enough. Scrap it. We want fighters in the Democratic Party. We demand fighters. We demand strength of conviction, and we do not have it at this moment. We have got to get it. I'd like to take a minute now to thank our sponsor, dupe.com, because here's the reality. Dupe.com saves you money. And we all know time is flying and the holiday shopping season is here. So if you absolutely fall in love with a gift this holiday season, maybe it's a cozy couch you wanted for your family or a designer bag. In my case, it was a jacket that my daughter wanted and the price was exorbitant. It just was like a gut punch. So what did I do? I went to dupe.com and it was the easiest experience in the world. Just type dupe.com/ before any product URL in your browser, and boom, it instantly finds you more affordable alternatives, perfect for gifting. They even have an app and a browser extension you can download. No account required, no sign up required. It's completely free to use. Stop overspending on brand names and start saving on holiday gifts with dupe.com immediately. And here's the thing. Here's just the thing that makes me crazy. Every single poll said the American people understand it is the Republicans that are causing the shutdown. It is the Republicans that are tanking the economy. It is the Republicans that are causing inflation. It is the billionaire tax cuts that we no longer want. And so instead of taking this opportunity and continuing to make a stand, when you see poll after poll after poll that Trump is underwater, he's basically down to just the core cult members in popularity on every issue. And here's what happened when he was at a Washington Commanders game last night. If this doesn't tell the story of how the American people feel about Trump, Chuckles, nothing will. You cannot understand if you don't understand polls and you don't understand this video.
I
You hear the boos? It's nonstop booing.
Constitution of the United States.
Can't even hear him because they're booing so loud. And I just want to point out that went on for over 2 minutes. That stadium booed Trump for over 2 minutes. They were giving him the bird. They made their voices heard. And unfortunately, leadership in the Democratic Party doesn't support the will of the people. And one just real interesting note, after he got booed, Trump packed up his toys and went home. His little feelings were hurt because he is a coward. He is a malignant narcissist that cannot be allowed to bully Congress. And that's exactly what he's doing, because we know Moses Mike Grinder Johnson has his lips plastered on Trump's ass. And it depends on the Democrats. And right now we have a failure in leadership in the Democratic Party. We've got more news to come. Jennifer is madder than a hornet over this. She's missed her 5 flights have been canceled from California going back to New York City. Once she gets back to New York City, she's going to come on, and I have a feeling she is going to read Chuck Schumer to filth. You're not going to want to miss it. Please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and a great way to support us, Life is a Lazy Susan of Shit Sandwiches. Our book is linked below in the show notes, and it's also available in audiobook. Stick with us for more news.